Grant, the floor is yours in 1 minute.
I have 6 o'clock.
I do too.
Declare the Planning Commission meeting to come to order for June 1st, 2022. Could we have the roll call, please?
Chair Solon,
Here.
Vice Chair Strauss Boyd,
Here.
Commissioner Dole,
Here.
Commissioner Sarver,
Here.
Commissioner Binion,
Here.
Commissioner Dole.
Here.
Having two Doles is tricky.
Oh, it's Dawn.
Oh, sorry. And then Jason Sullivan, Planning and Building Supervisor, here, and Debbie McDonald, the Planning Commission Clerk, is absent.
The chair will entertain a motion to excuse Commissioner Huber from the meeting. Motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes, all in favor, all opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Commissioner Huber is excused.
Chair Solon,
Yes.
just for a kind of a pause for a second tonight, because Debbie's not here. She's going to be taking the minutes from the minutes from audio. So if you make the motion or second, please say your name before it, so she can pick up who it is, because I can't really do everything. So for the record, it was Commissioner Dahl that made the motion to excuse Commissioner Hubler, and Commissioner Sarver made the second. Thank you, Chair.
At this time, we take a poll for our next meeting, which will be the 6th of July, 2022. If we have a show of hands of those that are going to be available. 1, 2, 3. No, I don't see the rest.
Debbie's got her hand up too.
Okay.
I made the absent.
We're going to have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a quorum. We will meet next. We will meet next on July 6th. Approval of the minutes. The minutes are on page 3. Somebody make a motion to approve the minutes, please.
Commissioner Dahl, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second? Okay. Brad and Jessica have made the motion, seconded. Any corrections, deletions, additions? Yes, Craig?
There was a motion that was voted on and carried. That was the one to delete the 10-minute penalty for being late. I don't see that in.
Commissioner, I think that was the previous minute. We didn't do, that was when we did the update to the bylaws. The bylaws, the bylaws were on last week's.
Oh, okay, I apologize.
The last agenda. I know what you're talking about, but yeah, that was, I think, the meeting before.
Yeah, that's settled. Last call, additions, corrections, changes. None appearing. I'll call the question. All those in favor say approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. Park Commission report. Commissioner Huber is absent. Did she send any messages or anything?
She didn't, and the Park Commission did not meet in May.
Okay.
Next meeting is in June.
At the time, their doctor just had a date.
Yeah.
Design Commission report.
We did not meet in May, so we have no updates.
Moving on, public comment concern.
I have not received any, no.
Okay.
If they did send them to Debbie, we will, because we do have 2 public hearings. If they did get sent to Debbie, they will be included in the record. I will forward those to the planning commission, just so that they're aware of anything that was submitted.
Okay. Public hearing. I'm going to open the public hearing for ordinance D 22-31, comprehensive plan development regulation amendments, transportation project list. Jason, you have the floor.
All right. All right, you see blue, okay, yep, it's on the screen. So I've just brought the project list up in case there's any questions as we go through this. So tonight, this is a comprehensive plan amendment and development regulation for ordinance D 2241. The ordinance will do 2 things. First, we'll amend 6 of the city. It serves as our capital facilities element for the city to adopt a new project list that will be that are the projects that will be funded with transportation impact fees. I will say from the get-go, there's more projects and costs and impact fees coming in. That is money to complete, or 2, if they're completed by developers, this is how they get their TIF credit, by being on this list. So it does serve an important purpose in that. The list is being updated for a number of reasons. First is the old list was adopted had a horizon date of 2025, so we're rolling the horizon date out to 2035. Also, there was a number of projects that have been completed and some additional projects that needed to be added. So we're adding projects and deleting projects. The list itself identifies which ones were on the 2005 list and which ones are new. So if there's a question about a specific project, I can answer that. This will be a short-term list. Even though it is out till 2035, we'll be adopting a new one when we do the new transportation plan in 2024. So this will be the list that we will operate off of for the next 2 years as we complete the periodic update. We felt it was important, even though it's just a 2-year window, because there are questions that were coming up. Additionally, while we also have the amendment to development regulations, the way our development regulations were in Title 19 were written didn't really line up that well with state law. So we are clarifying that the list isn't adopted in the ordinance. The list is actually adopted in the capital facilities element as required by state law, adopting the list, and changing the name of capital facilities element in Title 19 to community services and facilities element, which is the name of the element itself. This doesn't change anybody's impact fee, doesn't increase impact fees. I would say the biggest impact to developers is a positive one. It clarifies which projects they would receive credit for if they built. That was one of the impetus to start this, is we had a project that was supposed to be on the list but wasn't on the old list, and there was a big debate about whether or not they should get credit for the traffic impact fee. So this kind of just clarifies what are considered system capacity improvements for which would collect TIF money, and also people would receive TIF credit. We did have this reviewed, all the projects were reviewed by SCJ, which is our transportation engineering consultants. One, to verify the cost, so all the costs were updated to today's cost. And for the new projects, to prepare what those cost estimates would be, and also what percentage of the project or capacity and system improvements associated with growth, not past impact, which is why you'll see there's different percentages on the table, 95%, 98%, 92%, 100%. That's the percentage of that cost, which is TIF eligible credit. They reviewed that, and it was based on their traffic modeling to determine what those percentages were. With that, I can answer any questions. We have prepared a draft suggested motion on page 5 of your packet. recommending that the council approve both amendments, and I can answer any of your questions.
Jason, have we had any comments from the public?
I have not, as of today, I haven't received any emails from anybody with comments on the order.
Thank you.
As I said, there may be a late one that came into Debbie, because today was the cutoff to get stuff to her based on the agenda packet. If any did come in, they would be rolled into the packet that goes to the city council, and we would also forward those to the planning commission, so the planning commissioners.
Is there any way you can make that just a little bit bigger on the screen?
I can try.
Okay. That's plenty big.
It's hard to, yeah. Let me see if I can. There we go. We'll have to kind of move it if there's a project you want to talk about. Or I can walk through whatever the planning commission would like me to do.
We talked about some of them.
So the first three, or the first four projects on the list, this whole first page, is really what we call the 192nd corridor. It basically is the road that is a brand new road that goes from all the way down to 104, and then there's two cross streets that get connected at 103 and 103rd and 107th. As you can see, these are all very low priority projects with a long lead time, not likely to occur within this planning. And they were all on the original list. The other ones are 198. This is from Sumner Buckley Highway to SR 410. This project was on the original list and is considered a short and a high priority project. 200th Avenue Court East from South Prairie to 104. This is right there where that new the new 7-Eleven is at. It is a corridor capacity improvement, but it's really about 52% of their cost is for future growth. And it's a little bit longer lead item. Then there's Bonney Lake Boulevard. This is to extend Bonney Lake Boulevard from its current beginning out to Myers Road. It is a future map street in the comprehensive plan. It was not on the 05 list. And it would provide a more direct connection to both Allen York Park and that part of the city, versus having to kind of line through neighborhoods. It would be a direct shot from Myers down to Allen York Park. Pelly Lake Road, this is from Church Lake to 214th. This was on the old list. It's a capacity improvement, basically widening it to put the center turn lane in with curb gutter and sidewalk. And then the Church Lake Road, which is also part of that project, kind of the second part of that road, is also kind of putting that center turn lane in with curb gutter and sidewalks. And these were both on the 05 list, both kind of longer lead items. 101st from 219th to 2221st. The first part of this was already built when the View by Vintage went in. So if you turn in where the Butter Biscuit is, that's 219th, and then you make that kind of a bend, that's 101st. It's actually going to be completed next year because there's another apartment complex that's building 221st and 101st. So this segment will be completed next year.
So Jason, I'm guessing they go from like highest priority to lowest priority and like when they're looking to build a new road?
Yeah, so there's two. There's the priority and the timing.
Okay.
So if you look at the timing over here, long means toward the kind of thing about we've all written chunks.
Okay.
So 2015 to 2022, 2022 to 2029, and then 29 to 20. Just kind of.
So it's like all three chunks and it's a long range one.
Yeah. So if it's in that last 7 years, it's the long.
Okay.
And then if it's and then within that you could have high, medium, and low priority.
Okay.
So if you're important projects, we feel to be projects that are those are the ones that we really want to get completed right now.
Okay, makes sense. Thanks.
Now you can see 100, the 100, yeah. The 101st one has a short and high, and it was because it was already under construction. And it serves as apartment complexes, so based on development. And that's one where, for example, they're getting TIF credit for building that project, we're not building. The other segment of 101st is from 221st to 226th. This was partially completed. It is a short-term high priority project because it's now a missing gap project. So when the Easttown Industrial Park got built, they built from about 226 to about 223rd. So we now have to build that remaining gap piece from 223rd to 221st. And so we'll require some right of way. We have some right of way already acquired through there, but we'll require a little bit of right of way. And then importance of that, that means that road will then be able to connect to the roundabout at 224th that we're expecting to be built. The other one is the extension of 186. This is right over here by City Hall, where you have to turn and go around to Veterans Memorial. There'll be a direct connection straight out to Veterans Memorial, basically where the post office is, so that the Pistol Ames complex and the post office will be able to access kind of a secondary road versus they're having the driveways right on Veterans Memorial Drive. It will also provide a back access out for the police department from their facility. Then we get into our intersections, Church Lake Road and West Taft Highway. This is kind of this is where you get that short medium. After we get all the high ones done, we would work on this one. It's a new signal. This is that secondary road to get into Allen Park. I think it's going to get a lot busier when the both of them built. 410 and 214. This one is a roundabout. There was lots of consternation. Commissioner Dole will know from when he was on City Council. So it is still listed as a roundabout because that's what the ICE says it needs to be. We do recognize that there is some disagreement with that at the policy level. So we did add a note that says in order to change the project, we would need to go back to that ICE. So we're trying to reflect both groups' opinion, both WASDOT's opinion that was done through their ICE, which is their intersection control analysis, and also through the City Council's desire not to want to have it a roundabout. So it is a roundabout, but because that's what the ICE says it needs to be. If the council wants to change it, we'd have to go back to the ICE process and then adopt a new project.
Is that cost change, Jason? It's only 900,000 now. It was, according to this, it was more than that prior, right?
This is their cost estimate. I think the other costs were the right of it was the cost and finishing the engineering, and I think the right of way acquisition, which I think has been completed.
Gotcha.
And I will tell you, we did not spend a super amount of time working on that one because of all of the other issues with that one. But you can see we've also lowered the priority. It's now medium. It's still high because you have a failing intersection, failing lane of that intersection. Angeline Road and Veterans Memorial Drive. This one has kind of moved up the list. You can see it's short and high. And looking at a new signal and additional turn lanes for that one. And that's right over here on Angeline. 214 and 224th. This is a new roundabout out on 410 for the business park development. We believe that this one will be completed by a developer as part of their project. And then 410 and 192nd, which is kind of installing a new signal arm and additional turn lanes on the south side. So those are the projects, and you can see kind of here in the notes what the dates meant. So we had to pick them, and that's what I say is we kind of were doing this in retrospect going back to 2015. So the first window is 2015 to 2021, 2022 to 2028, and then 2029 to 2035. Still we're behind. It's a matter of cost. So I can answer any questions. With that or the ordinance.
I don't hear any questions.
Well, looks good.
I was just gonna say, I like roundabouts. Anything that keeps me moving, I like it.
We're trying.
Yeah.
Lots of,
I think the concern was the amount of traffic going north, south, east, west.
Yeah.
Like typically a roundabout, when you have congestion in one direction, makes a lot of sense for the roundabout, but where there's a lot of traffic going in both directions, Jason's probably able to speak to it better, but we just couldn't see one that was significantly similar in the area that makes, especially on a state route, interstate kind of idea.
yeah, that one, there was lots of, and that's why I said, that's why we kind of phrased it the way we did. That one will have to be re-looked at some point.
I think the one a little further out, that's part of the development there, may prove the concept, and get everybody thinking about it a little bit more. I don't know, that was just part of the discussion.
Yes.
One a little further out makes perfect sense. One a little closer may need a little work. I know there was some concerns with the ladder truck. Ladder truck for safety to get through there. And then I believe in the ice, there was only one pedestrian that had crossed that particular, or
That might have been
there was only a few, and then I think it was before View by Vintage went in, right? The ice study.
Yeah.
And so with all those apartments there, they were concerned about a fair amount of people walking, and how safe those are to cross. Never personally crossed, a busy place like that in a roundabout area. So I know that was just a few of the concerns.
Was the one closer in the two lane, or was it maybe just?
No, it was gonna be 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a right drop. There was a slip lane. There were 2 that would go through the roundabout, and then a slip lane, what they call slip lane for when you're doing like a right drop.
Mhm.
So when you come up to the intersection, it'd actually be 3 wide with one that's an automatic right, and then the 2 that go around. If I remember the design correctly.
Crashes the first 6. They love those.
Any more questions? And what, page 5 has the draft of the motion?
I can
Somebody
make
make that motion.
Okay, Commissioner
Commissioner
Dahl.
Dahl? Go ahead.
Okay, so I move to recommend that the city council approve ordinance D 22-31, amending section 6, community facilities and services element and portions of chapter 19.04 of the Bonney Lake Municipal Code.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Dahl. Is there a second?
Christopher Sarver, I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? None? Call the question. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. And this goes forward, Jason, when?
It's in this one, since it's a comprehensive plan, it's got a 60-day commerce period on it that doesn't end until July 3rd, and the council can't take action until after July 3rd, so it'll be sometime in the middle of July that actually goes to city council.
At this time, I'm going to close the public hearing for ordinance D 22-31, comprehensive plan development regulations amendments, transportation project list. Moving on, I'm going to open the public hearing on ordinance D 22-41, land use matrix amendment, self-storage facilities. Jason?
So this is ordinance, the public hearing for ordinance D 2241, which would remove mini storage facility or self-storage facilities as a permitted use in the East Town and C2 zoning district, which are the only two zoning districts which it is currently allowed. We did brief the planning commission on this ordinance back in April, along with, sorry, I told my staff to work. We did brief the planning commission on this ordinance back in April. We have also briefed the community development committee back in May. Both groups felt that moving in the direction, I'm sorry, it was February for the planning commission and March for the community development committee. The consensus of both bodies was to move self-storage facilities as a permitted use in those zones. The only caveat being that the ones that were already kind of in progress or established needed to be kind of somehow protected. And I will get into that in a minute. The objective for removing this was because we did a different additional analysis and realized that the self-storage facilities do not have a large economic impact for the city. They take up a lot of valuable land. They're not a source of job creation. They're not a source of revenue. I will say that for private property owners, they are a source of revenue for them, but as a community, as a city organization, there are no protections around self-storage facilities like there are religious institutions, which is why you can remove those from we did look to see how this does implement our comprehensive plan. As expressed in the staff report, the city's East Town area was really meant to be developed. It was a light industrial manufacturing area as a job center. As you can see, we've got three. We already have 2 in East Town, and we have 3 more proposed. So we wanted to kind of protect what's left of East Town for light industrial, light manufacturing and development, so you can have more of those family wage jobs here. The other center that we really looked at was Midtown. Midtown has really already not allowed those, but because we had one in Midtown Center, we wanted to make sure that people understood that why Midtown was included. Because there's part of Midtown that's zone C2 out here. Where the store here is, it's technically in the Midtown Center. It's already removed from the Midtown core, but it's still within the Midtown Center. And that area is really, those C2 really was developed for light commercial, light retail uses, for people to shop and provide those types of services. And then finally, the downtown center. There is part of the downtown center that is zoned C2, so in theory you could have self-storage facilities in those zones. And really downtown was identified and meant to become a cultural and social heart of the city, where people kind of come and gather and live, work, play type of idea. And really self-storage facilities really don't play into that kind of attempt. So because the amendments are consistent with the policies in the comprehensive plan, the city council can move forward. We did have a provision in the ordinance. So if you go to page, let's pull the page up real quick. So if you go to page 66 of your packet, which is page 4 of the ordinance, we did amend the non-conforming section to provide 2 protections for property rights. One is if there's a self-storage facility currently on the property, it can remain and it can stay. Second one is if as long as they have a vested building permit as of the effective date of this ordinance, they're allowed to go and build and remain. The second protection we added is if there's currently a self-storage facility on the property, and it gets old and they want to rebuild it and make it a newer, nicer one, they can do that. So they don't, typically when you abandon the use by destroying it, you can't build the same use if it's not permitted. But we added a specific provision that says the expansion or new construction shall be consistent with all applicable standards, but you can still, so for example, if K&M Storage, that's an older one, wanted to redevelop their property with a newer, fancier storage facility, they would not lose that right to. Because that's been their business model. So this map is adopted as part of the ordinance in the packet. And the way that the language is, it says the effective date of the provision is the effective date of this ordinance. So you'd have to go and pull the ordinance, but we would be able to do that back research.
Would they be using the same footprint if they rebuild?
They could use a different footprint, they could use the same footprint, and they could even make it larger. So if they have 1,000 square feet, they could go to 2,000 square feet. It's best to have right that property can be used for facility in perpetuity. I will say though, if they tear it down and build something else, then they couldn't come back and do storage because then they would have abandoned. But if they want to just upgrade the facility, it does provide.
Are there any permit applications currently pending on anything like
No, but we just, no, when I know land use, the minute it becomes a non-conforming use without this, if they voluntarily demolish their buildings, they would not be able to rebuild it unless it's a conforming. We added that protection so that people who have been operating storage facilities for 20 years, if they decided they want to upgrade, can still do that. So we're not, I guess the best way to say is we're not eliminating any of the existing ones. All of the ones that are moving forward have been vested because they either through the development agreement, which is Premier Storage number 2, Sunset Mini Storage has already applied, they're vested. Daffodil Storage has already applied, they're vested. Store Here Expansion has already applied for building permits, they're vested. So they're all vested. The only one that will likely not be moving forward is Gillespie Storage. But after doing their pre-app, we learned there's a big wetland right in the middle of the property, which they're in code enforcement to deal with wetland mitigation, which is right where they want to put the buildings, and they'll have to restore it back to the wetland. That one has, even since this ordinance, would probably not be.
Makes sense though, like if you want businesses to look nice and like be presentable, like you don't want to make them, you have to have the consistent buildings. I like that idea. Makes sense so that they can update and keep up with the time. Not get dilapidated.
And I think I might update this map because I think I did miss one. I think there's a small one right off of 214th, right next to the mobile home park. I think there's like a one building one there. I'll drive by. If there is, we'll add it to the map. And we'll remove it so that this map kind of has documentation of the investment.
Any questions or comments? Don't see anybody. We have a draft of the ordinance. I think it's on page 61. Would somebody make the motion, please?
The ordinance 22.
Yes.
Okay.
Suggested motion.
Perfect. This is Commissioner Benyon. I move to recommend that the City Council approve ordinance D22-41, removing self-storage facilities as a permitted use in East Town, and C-2 zoning classification.
I'll second Commissioner Dahl.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, additions? None appearing. I call the question. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. It goes forward to the council. And at this time, I'm going to close the public hearing for ordinance D22-41, land use matrix amendment, self-storage facilities. Thank you. Home continuing business. Planning Commission futures. Jason?
Yep, I'm opening it right now. For some reason, it did not get included in the packet, but I'll pull it up. I'm going to zoom in on this one. All right, so of course we've done the April ones and we've done the May meetings, so we've done the June. As we promised, we're going to be doing this update quarterly. So this is our June update for our planning commission future, just so you can kind of see what's going on. Your next meeting will be on July 6th, and we'll be doing a briefing on the CEPA code update, along with the comprehensive plan periodic update, scoping, and work plan briefing. On August 3rd, you will get the 2022 Development Code Maintenance Amendment Package briefing, along with the ADU code update, and we will be doing the public hearings for the CEPA code update and the comprehensive plan periodic update. So that's going to be a nice full agenda, so be prepared for that one. Then we will be on our summer break. I did have to cancel the September 1st meeting. That is the week that I'm at the Planning Directors Conference in Japan. Sorry, I don't set the schedule, so I just happened to coincide that they're on the same date. October 5th, we will have a meeting. We'll do the public hearing for the ADU code, the 2022 Development Code of Maintenance, and also begin working on the capital improvement plan for our public hearing in November on the capital improvement plan. And then in December, we'll kind of wrap up looking at the Planning Commission work plan. We will probably be in here for both the July and August meeting. I was talking with Chuck before this meeting, and supply chain issues are affecting getting all the IT stuff that we need in that building. So for right now, I'll let you know if it changes, but for right now, we're at least looking at the July and August meetings here. We were already looking at July, so it's just August. So hopefully that October meeting will be in our new building. Hopefully that will come. So that's all I have. I can answer any questions if there isn't about the futures.
Any questions? No. Moving on, new business, none. For the good of the order, correspondence? I think that was none.
That's correct.
Staff comments. Staff comments.
Just one, we did today announce the recruitment for the assistant planner. So about a year now since I lost everybody, we'll kind of be back to full staff. Hopefully by August, we'll have 2 people in the building. On the building side, well, we have a full-time code enforcement officer now who's out getting started. They just started May 16th. So 2 years worth of backlog that they're slowly working through, plus training. And then hopefully we'll have a new assistant planner starting in August. It's open for internal recruitment now, and then it'll bring us back up to kind of a full complement. Just to get in your minds, next year will probably be mainly focused on the comprehensive plan update. So I don't know how that's going to impact meetings. I mean, that's really going to be our primary focus. So we probably won't be doing other ordinances unless the development amendment package, but our primary focus will be on that. The council did authorize us to go out for the RFP for the Park Commission. We haven't awarded the contract, so I can't say we're doing the Parks plan, but we are a step closer. So that will be another big lift starting this year and into next year. I raise it because the way we have it set up, there will be a steering committee and there will be one park commissioner on the steering committee. Once we have a consultant on board, I will come back to the planning commission to see who the planning commission wants to serve on that. There'll also be one park commissioner, one arts commissioner, and one city councilman. I think a couple at large, one picked by the council and one picked by the mayor. So trying to get as big as cross section of, so everybody kind of has a seat at the table, and of course staff. But so just kind of keep that in your mind, and then Grant, I'll let you figure out how you want to do the selection of the planning commission for the I know there's planning commissions that are interested, but it's up to the commission who they want to put on it. Don't know what's going to happen. The council has to approve the contract first, but we are going to go out for the RFP. We're hoping to have that RFP out next week or the week after, so probably sometime late July, we'll be taking it to council if they want to award a contract. It's going to be a heavy lift, anywhere from $250,000 to $400,000. Whether the council wants to spend the money, that's a policy decision.
Commissioner comments? None? Well, Jason, I'd like to say thank you for keeping us in order. It's not easy.
I'm trying, and I'm glad that we're kind of back in person. It's good to see everybody's faces. Dan's Debbie, and I know her pooch would probably be a little sad if she had to leave us, so he looks pretty comfortable there, Dan.
Yeah.
She likes coming to the meetings, so.
Yeah, she looks like she's all kind of enthused in what we're talking about.
That's a happy puppy. You heard us talk about you. All right. Motion to adjourn.
Commissioner also moved.
A second? Yes,
Commissioner Bennington second.
moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Aye.
The ayes have it. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Grant has better.
We're still recording, so I'm just